The Shibuya incident arc has officially wrapped up, ending Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2's reign over the year of 2023. Now, Jujutsu Kaisen is an anime that's got a lot of controversy, backlash, and hype at the same amount of time, deeming it one of the most infamous animes of this entire year. And I felt it necessary for me to go ahead and do a rank and explain of every major fight of this entire season. Now, just to clarify, I will be talking about the major fights of this season. I won't be talking about individual fights of sorcerers fighting curses, or even the prelude, which is the honorable mention of the fight between Mahito and Mekamaru. Although a great arc, it was a prelude to the Shibuya incident arc, and it wasn't exactly in it. So due to that, it will not be ranked or explained in this video. But I don't want you to get it confused. I will be ranking all the fights, not only off of progression through what we've got to story and plot progression, but also animation quality, the choreography of the fight, the individualistic art styles that we got during the fight, because Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 was known to have a lot of changing art styles in between the seasons. So I also want to clarify on that. Huge shout out to the MAPPA employees and animators that worked on this season. Although I will be ranking from worst to best and giving grades to each of these fights, I don't want it to seem like I am hating on any of these fights. Each anime did an astounding job on presenting us a beautiful fight scene every single week of the ending year for Jujutsu Kaisen. So without further ado, if you can go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment, let me know how I did. Did you agree with some of my takes, or did you disagree with my opinions? Do you think some fights should have been higher or some fights should have been lower? Let me know down in the comments below. But without further ado, I will proceed to end my yapping, and let's get into the video. Now, the first fight we have is Eugene Idor versus the Code Guy, otherwise known as the Grasshopper. This fight was our introduction to the Shibuya incident in regards to the fighting and what we should be expecting. Now, there was a lot of ghosting in this fight, and it kind of introduced us to what was going to be expected for Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 when in regards to the fight and the flashy scenes. This did give us an estimate of how serious and how much developed Eugene Idor has gotten. Is he still that goofy, energetic character? Yes, but it shows how much serious and more tense of the situation and the matter is. We also got a plot progression and realized that Mahito is on the lower floors of the subway, and that's where Eugene Idor has to get to. We also got to see how good of a hand-to-hand combatist that Yuji is, and how easy works he wrapped up Koga. I do feel like it was a little longer than it should have been, but to give us this fight at the beginning, I'm not too mad at it. To give us a ranking, it's a short and sweet fight. It does have some ghosting. The quality is pretty good. It's not a bad fight at all. I would definitely have to give this a D+ ranking. I don't think it was average for what Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2 has given us out of all the other fights, but for what it is, a D+ ranking is, I feel, worthy of this fight. Now, moving on, we have Gojo versus Jogo, Hanami, and Choso, the encounter. Now, this fight was without a doubt one of the better fights that we've gotten to see with the Gojo against other cursed, special curses at that. Not only did we get to see a return of our three main villains within JJK Season 1, but we got to see a teamwork collab of Jogo and Hanami with Choso against Gojo, also giving us a little bit of a fun time. Seeing all the special curses at the park was very entertaining. I just love seeing the camaraderie between these curses, but we also got to see just how powerful Gojo truly is. These special curses, even with them teamed up, could not even defeat Gojo. It just shows how powerful he is. We got to see an absolute spectacle of Gojo just obliterating Hanami, pressing him till against the wall until he was just mud, until he was just purple blood. That was it. And then we got to see how scared and feared Gojo truly is, with Jogo having to run, them having to literally use people and turn them into monsters in order to give us enough time for Kenjaku to get the seal and seal away Gojo. It just shows just how powerful Gojo truly is, and we got to see how much IQ he had to use. He realized that he has just barely even a couple seconds in order to not only kill all the people turned into curses and monsters, the disfigured humans, but to go ahead and wipe out the special curses, in which we see one of the best running action scenes possible, in which Gojo is tearing through an entire crowd of disfigured humans. It is a beautiful scene, and finally ends off with Gojo being sealed up by Kenjaku, just showing how important and how devastating this really is going to be for the entire arc. I will without a doubt give this a B+, even maybe an A-, just for the beautiful choreography of this fight, the intellect Gojo was able to show in this fight, the animation, the quality that we got to see. Watching this in 4K might be one of the best things you can possibly do. Next, we have Nanami and Nobara Kugasaki versus Shigemo. Now, this fight starts off with Kugasaki versus Haruto Shigemo, and it was alright. It didn't really do anything for the story wise. It just showed a quick altercation between Kugasaki and Shigemo. It mainly got to the point where Shigemo was defeating Kugasaki and stabbing her, and it came to the point where Nanami showed up. And if you were on social media, you realized how many people were simping over Nanami. It was insane. Not only did Nanami completely obliterate Shigemo, tearing him up, he killed Shigemo at this point. And if you know, Shigemo has an ability where if he takes enough damage where it's going to kill him, he's able to bring himself back to life, which is kind of overpowered when you think about it. But the way he obliterated Shigemo was absolutely insane. Everybody calling him Daddy Nanami. This was probably one of the quickest, but also such a good fight. Not only was the animation quality very good, it showed just how powerful Nanami is. We didn't really get to see him all that much in season 1. We didn't get to see him at the beginning, but at the end, he was kind of on a mission. So getting to see him come back into play and show just how powerful he is was very amazing. It was a beautiful scene. Watching Shigemo get his face punched in was hilarious, all right? He was so scared, bro was in tears as he knows he's about to get completely obliterated. Animation quality was good, the choreography was all right, and I would give this fight a B+. It didn't do too much. It wasn't a whole bunch of choreography going throughout the scene, but it did give us an insight of how powerful Nanami is, how much fear he was able to put into Shigemo, and I think that's just beautiful. Next, we have Itadori Yuji and Megumi versus Jiro Awasaka. Now, he's the dude that's dressed up like Zoro, which I thought was hilarious. I really feel like that adds to the depth of this fight and what the grade may be, because having a One Piece character, JJK, is hilarious. And even though dude was not using swords, he was using more of like a little pocket blade, it was still pretty fun. Not only did we see teamwork between Itadori and Megumi as they fight him, it was amazing quality. Watching Megumi use his Shadow Beast techniques it is without a doubt one of the best things to watch in JJK. And watching Itadori use hand-to-hand combat against Jiro Awasaka as he takes all this damage, they wonder why he is not able, or why they're not able to really affect him until they realize that it's the soft punches. It's just hilarious. It's really cool. I feel like it's a quirky, unique curse technique that I feel like Gege Akutami, he put a lot of thought into that. It's like, okay, what can I provide for a unique scenario of a fight? And I think this was one of the most unique ones. Watching Megumi use his bunnies and the elephants and the wolves, it was beautiful. And then Itadori coming in with black flashes, coming in with his punches. I feel like this was a pretty good fight. And then he was just a cool, unique character. A lot of good choreography between the both, and the teamwork was immaculate. Watching the dynamics of the angles was pretty beautiful. So I'm going to at least give this fight, although it wasn't a very long fight, I'll give it a range from there, because this fight was pretty cool. We got to see a unique character. We got to see some teamwork between two of the main protagonists or duo-agonists, and I feel like this was a kind of a prelude introduction to one of the fights we're going to be getting later on in the season. Next, we have Tako Minino versus Toji Zenny, which I felt like this was an alright fight because it was Ino versus Ugani and her grandson, and then it became Ino versus Toji Zenny, but it was a very quick fight. It was not long at all. We did get to see Tako Minino use his curse technique, Auspicious Beast Summon. I thought that was a pretty cool technique. He just wasn't strong enough to withhold and withstand a complete ass whooping by Toji Zenny, in which Toji Zenny did him dirty, almost put him he was on the brink of death. So I'll give this fight a C-. It wasn't really that cool. I feel like this is closer to the Eugene Idor versus the Koga fight. It was very quick. It didn't last long. It was an alright fight. The choreography was pretty cool. I mean, we got to see Toji pop back into play. I feel like that was alright. So I'll give this a C-. It was an okay fight. It definitely does not even compare to the later on fights of Toji. Next, we have Yui May and Yui, I guess, versus Kenjaku Smallpox Deity. This was actually a pretty good fight. Not only did we get pretty much a good change of animation style, but we got to see Yui May back in action. We got to see possibly Yui's curse technique. Is still a little controversial on whether that was his curse technique, but them versus the Smallpox Deity, it was pretty cool. The scenery was amazing. Them being in a graveyard with the gray scale, a purple scale. You see Yui May's crow curse technique was also very unique. This fight was pretty good. Choreography was on pace. Getting to see just a lot of different things with the Smallpox Deity's curse domain and getting to see his curse technique as it just a coffin pops up and then a rock crushes it. I feel like that was very, very cool. The fight, again, was not a long fight. JJK likes to put in a lot of minor fights that are very action-packed, and I feel like that's pretty much what this fight was. It was a good fight. The quality was amazing. Watching this in 4K is absolutely magnificent. Yui May and Yui versus the Smallpox Deity. I will give this fight, without a doubt, I feel like this was a B+ fight. It was quick. It was action-packed. Choreograph was good. The animation style changed up, and that was very unique. This was a very good fight. B+. Next, we probably have one of the better fights with this entire season. Is Yuji versus Choso. This fight was insane. Not only did we get crazy camera angles and dynamics with Choso using his piercing blood technique, Yuji running down the entire stairwell to get the Choso and fighting him, and then them switching up the fight into a bathroom with close quarter combat. It's beautiful. It did give a lot of damage to Yuji. This is our first season of Yuji getting very heavily damaged to the point where he died. Yuji literally died or was left on the brink of death. But seeing Choso as he fights using his piercing blood technique, and even though we got the just confusing amount of information that Choso had to show us with in regards how his abilities work, with how he can't use too much blood at one time or he can get blood clots, this was still amazing. The choreography of this fight was beautiful. The ability of the red blood technique that Choso was using was a great counteract from the fight between Yui May and Yui, in which it was more of a blue scale with some gray scale in it. This was more of red, crazy, quick animations, a lot of different unique tactics they use with the blood coming off. This was an amazing fight. Like, this was all over social media. We got to see Choso realize that, okay, this is the person that killed my brother. And then at the end, watching Choso pass off from, okay, it was a made up fake encounter of Yuji, but it realized that, okay, that's his brother, and he felt Yuji die. That was magnificent. And then again, Yuji's death, that emotional total we finally got to see was the beginning of Yuji stop smiling. This is the first step we get to him doing that. But we also still get to see Yuji try to use IQ play, showing that, okay, he's an amazing hand-to-hand combat specialist, but he knows what to do in certain situations, and the close quarter combat is very unique from the large scale fights that you typically would expect from this type of series. Without a doubt, this fight would definitely be getting an A. I don't want to give it an A+ because I do feel like it was just certain things about this fight that could have been done better. We didn't need that whole informational rundown. I feel like that kind of took away from the fight because it could have gave us more action-packed scenes instead of just a whole 2-minute explanation of, okay, Choso can't do this with his blood technique because it's going to give him blood clots and kill him. But again, this was a great, outstanding fight. I'm giving this fight an A without a doubt. Next, we have Dagon versus Nomi, Maki, and now Obito Zenny. This was again one of those minor fights that come into play by a very action-packed. Not only we get to see Dagon, who we did not get to see his abilities or curse technique in season 1, but we got to see now Obito Zenny and his abilities with the projection sorcery, which I thought was again very unique. Gege Akutami does a great job of thinking up curse techniques in which they have their own uniqueness. It kind of reminds me of Hunter x Hunter, where, okay, it has a unique set of powers and rules, but the way they apply it to the series is such an amazing job. And this fight, again, was really cool. We got to see a 3-man team against a special curse, which was Dagon. And once Dagon finally brought them into his domain expansion, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, did he completely destroy and beat the freak up out of Naobito, Maki, and Nomi? Yes. Naobito really lost an entire arm. I feel like that was cool. Even though he was a minor character, him getting such horrific damages already was honestly unique. You're not gonna really see that in a lot of anime, so I think that was a cool little add into the fight. And then watching Nomi have to fight off, and then Dagon sending these fishes from the water, and they're fighting. And again, this is a tropical domain expansion. I feel like that was very unique. It gave a cool scenery from just, okay, we're in the building, to bam, domain expansion, we're on a tropical beach. That is very cool. That is without a doubt very great. I feel like this choreography is pretty cool. I feel like the best part of it was the fact that Naobito's projection sorcery was animated very well. The fight scene was good. The animation quality was on point. Okay, a little bit of ghosting, but it wasn't too bad. But it just pales in comparison to what's going to happen next within the fight of Dagon. So I will give this fight about a B-. It wasn't a C, but it was cool. I think the best part of this fight was definitely watching Naobito Zenin use his projection sorcery. That curse technique is without a doubt very cool. Probably one of my favorite curse techniques. It provides for an amazing just combo of techniques, and using the frames is beautiful. And then within the same fight is Dagon versus Toji Fushiguro. Now, just watching Toji Fushiguro come out of Megami's portal is magnificent. I love watching Toji when he's on screen. He's such a compelling character, and his motivations are always very weird and unique. This was just an amazing fight. And the ghosting was extreme in this fight, and I wish it wasn't. I do understand the reason why they have the ghost certain scenes, but I feel like that really downplays on this fight. But again, watching Toji run through and then completely obliterate Dagon was beautiful. Him taking Maki's playful cloud and using that to fight against Dagon was magnificent. Again, the running through the water, the fighting against the fishes. Dagon did a great job. The way Dagon used the little eel that came out of his stomach was beautiful. That was cool. It just also shows how powerful Toji truly is. Him able to use Playful Cloud masterfully, better than Maki's able to. And then him basically use Playful Cloud and sharpen up the points of it and completely obliterate Dagon. What the hell with Naobito? That was a really cool way of seeing Naobito come in again. Projection sorcery is one of my favorite curse techniques, but him hold Dagon there and Toji just go absolutely ham, giving us a little JoJo reference of a ora. You know what I'm saying? That was cool. And again, Dagon is a really cool special curse. I feel like his domain expansion is one of the best ones just because of tropical beach we're at. And seeing this action-packed scene was awesome. And it was no words of Toji. It was barely any words. He just got straight to the action. And watching Maki and Nomi just in confusion, and Megami in confusion of who this is, even though now Naobito knows who he is. This was just a very good fight. Without a doubt, I would definitely be giving this fight an A as well. I do still feel like the ghosting took a lot out of this fight. Again, I know if I just go ahead and get the Blu-ray of this, I'll be able to enjoy this, but the ghosting really did take a lot out of this fight, and I feel like that has to lower down the grade just a little bit. But without a doubt, this fight is animated beautifully. The choreography is amazing. The fight scenes, the action, the dynamics, the camera angles. This is a beautiful fight. It gets an A. Next, we have Megami Fushiguro against Toji Zenin. Now, it was cool to see Toji immediately throw Megami out the window right after he finished whooping Dagon's behind. It was very cool. And also seeing Megami utilize his shadow techniques is awesome. Seeing the bunnies surround Toji was so unique. But Toji, the slow-mo scene in which Toji started flicking the debris caused by the rabbits all around the place, that was so cool. The dynamic and the camera angle of the scene was beautiful. And again, seeing Megami get absolutely dogged out by his pops, even though how crushing the scene was and us knowing that Toji is Megami's father and he's just doing him dirty, it was still such a cool scene. The amazing quality it had was cool. It was no ghosting in this scene, which I think gives it such a boost, because ghosting really just, it lowers the animation quality a lot. But with this scene, this fight scene animated, the choreography so beautiful, watching Toji use hand-to-hand combat to completely annihilate Megumi was so awesome. And Megumi doesn't know who this guy is. He just knows he's being attacked. He's fighting full force. And finally, the ending scene where Toji realizes, okay, this is my son. Is he good? Did the Zenin utterly use him as a weapon? No, murked himself off. Although it saddens me that we didn't get to see Toji come into play and completely whoop on Kenjaku and the other villains of this season, saddens me, but again, I understand why they couldn't. He's just too powerful. It would have been wrapped up too fast, in my opinion. Not many characters can defeat Toji, so. But this fight is without a doubt a very good fight. No ghosting, it really helps. And then I would give this fight a B+. It was a good fight. It showed a lot of cool dynamics and camera angles, and it showed a father and son battle. And who hates those? So I give this a B+. And we have Sakuna versus Jogo. Probably, I'm not gonna lie, this might be one of the better fights of this season without a doubt. It could take top spot. This fight was magnificent. Watching Jogo use his curse technique, his lava abilities, and completely take 2 buildings and squash them against Sakuna is insane. And Sakuna hitting the Jesus Christ on the, oh my goodness. Him running through the building, him going crazy. There's a lot of Devil May Cry scenes that will remind you of. This fight was animated beautifully. Sakuna going full force against Jogo, showing him how much powerful and the gap difference in strength. But again, Jogo not giving up. Jogo fighting for his life in there. He's boxing. So it was a good scene. Watching some of the hand-to-hand combat scenes was also pretty cool. And then Jogo going for a full spirit bomb of fire. And then Sakuna showing up with Panda and the sword guy. Bro, he had them shook. He was like, y'all don't move until I give y'all the command to move. And they dipped as soon as he got said go. That was such a cool scene. And then to finalize off the fight, we got to see Sakuna talk to Jogo. Jogo's dead. He sees Dagon and Hanami. And we got to see Sakuna use Fuga after the kill and him give an honorable death or honorable kill to Jogo. That was honestly one of the better scenes. It showed me how respectable Sakuna is. And even though he is a villain and he does the most heinous of things, this was a great fight. And again, that Fuga is just, it's magnificent. This fight gets an A+ without a doubt. And there was no ghosting. I don't remember seeing any ghosting in this fight. This fight was animated beautifully. And the ending part where we see Jogo's flamed up body, there were so many scenes in this fight that could be used as wallpapers. That's how beautifully animated this fight. The dynamics, the camera angling, the voice acting, the music, everything about this fight was just done perfectly. And without a doubt, this gets an A+. Next, we have one that ran social media through Sakuna versus Mahaga. Now, to start off with Megumi summoning Mahaga against Shigemo was absolutely hilarious, and how much they used this on social media and joked on Megumi was insane. Because we got to realize the hand sign that Megumi uses, he used this in season 1 significantly. You will realize how powerful Mahaga is and how many times Megumi was forced to almost whip this out and use this ability and use this shot. Oh my goodness, it is impeccable. And then seeing Sakuna show up after Megumi is pretty much killed and put in suspended animation, this fight was impeccable. We got to see Mahaga versus Sakuna. Mahaga swings him through a building. He comes out with some popcorn. This fight is, not only this fight is insane, but the animation of this fight is, it's ridiculous. The only thing I think that could take away for this fight is that it was only 60% done. And you could kind of tell from certain scenes this fight was only 60% done. Because there were some scenes of this fight where you're like, okay, the animation is a little sloppy. The lines are a little just dragged off. But because of the angling and just the way this was done, this is unique to anime entirely. Watching Mahaga swim through a building as Sakuna is doing backflips up the building, and then the dynamic of the aerial fights is cool. We're watching Sakuna get flung through buildings, running through buildings, slamming through buildings. Mahaga is going insane. Sakuna whips out his entire domain expansion, in which caused a lot of controversy. People didn't know if what Sakuna said was Malevolent Kitchen, was that a part of his curse technique, or was this just a little typo that Mappa, didn't wrap up correctly. So this fight was honestly, I don't want to give it higher than Sakuna versus Jogo, but there are certain scenes of this fight where it's so unique and so mind-numbing the anime has not received. I felt like it propelled animation to such a new level. This fight is done in such a unique way that you just have to be able to enjoy it. Like, your mind is blown, your jaw is to the floor. Every time I watch this fight, I am appalled by how crazy this animation was. And again, the fight was only 60% done. They had a week to perform this. That adds to how great this fight was. So I will still give this an A+, but I will keep it under Sakuna versus Jogo, because I feel like that fight was just done a little bit better. It just tells you how crazy Mappa was going with this. Anyways, this fight without a doubt is an A+, right under Sakuna versus Jogo. Next, we have Yuji and Nobara versus Mahito. Now, I'm doing this one. I'm going to include Nobara because this was a pretty cool fight. She did play a lot into what it came into affecting Mahito this entire fight, in which Yuji was able to deal a heavy blow which affected Mahito the entire rest of the season. Nobara didn't know he was helping out Yuji, and Yuji didn't know why Mahito was jacked up like that, but that was so cool to see. And we also got to see again, RP my man's Nomi. You know what I'm saying? It propelled Yuji to a different state. This is really showing us the last time Yuji's ever on a smile. Like, seeing Yuji just go ham, seeing him go ham on Mahito is awesome. But Mahito also did a great job at fighting. Seeing how unique and useful Mahito's ability is and his disfigured, it's so cool. Him using his body in different ways and using different weapons, and then also using people at the same time to turn into disfigured humans is also pretty unique. I'm not gonna lie. It shows how playful Mahito can be, and who can forget when Mahito screamed back at Yuji? The voice actor was just absolutely magnificent, and Yuji just thumping and beating on Mahito, throwing him up against the wall, the column. It's so insane. The animation was done perfectly. And then when we finally get the Nobara running and meeting up with Yuji, having the whole audience think that, okay, Mahito is just going to combine back with the other Mahito, but running past them, tricking the entire audience and presenting us what we thought was a death scene for Nobara. And once you find out that Nobara is not dead, we thought it was a whole death scene of Nobara and her saying she's had a good life, let everybody know, and they're completely just done. Yuji is emotionally distraught after losing so many people, after him having his own body taken over by Sakuna and killing thousands, and then seeing Nomi killed by Mahito, and then watching Nobara Kugasaki killed by Mahito. This was insane. And we also got to see the bloody scene of a third viewpoint of watching through Nobara's eye socket. Mappa did not play with this scene at all. It just showed you how insane of a fight this was. The animation was done great. There was hardly any ghosting. The choreography, the dynamics, the camera angles, everything was pretty good about this fight. The only thing that takes from this fight is that it was right after Sakuna versus Jogo and Mahaga, and it just wasn't as wide scaled as those two fights. And I would have to give this a B+, a B+ to A-, because this was a great fight scene. And then we have Itadori Yuji and Toto versus Mahito. Now, this fight was great. I've made a video on this on my channel. Seeing Toto not only come into play again, play a big brother role, get Yuji out of the rut he was in after killing thousands, losing Nomi and Kugasaki, and watching Toto come not only save Yuji's life as Mahito was running through Yuji, beating him up, completely violating him, but then Toto comes to save him, appears the hero, a big brother role, and they start going ham. They start going crazy on Mahito. They're double teaming him just like Yuji and Nomi were doing. It is a great fight. And there was so much to this fight. This was one of our longer fights, lasting more than one episode. And watching Toto use his all-for-one abilities which is also kind of sucks because for how powerful this One for All scene was, this My Hero Academia influence scene was pretty lame for how weak how it did nothing against Mahito. How this beautifully animated scene did absolutely nothing against Mahito kind of saddened me. I feel like it could have did more. But again, this is just how the story is written, and Mahito is very powerful, so I'm not mad at this scene. But the animation quality, the fight was so impeccable. Watching these three pop up on the front cover of the end episode was cool. It was recreated just like that in the manga. Watching them fight outside in the city was amazing. Watching Toto fight with his little alter idol person was ridiculous. He was going crazy on Mahito, and Toto having to risk his arm, lose his arm. We got to see Toto expand on his abilities. The Boogie Woogie was done amazing and beautifully. Not only was this fight long, we also got to see Mahito evolve, go on to Frieza, the Frieza Saga type movement, you know what I'm saying, where he went to a whole different being. And then Eugene Idor is using his black flashes, setting whole new records for this. It's impeccable. Eugene Idor going hand-to-hand combat. He's taking more damage, slashes across the face, slashes on his mouth, and these are slashes that stay there. These are wounds that stay there perpetually. So this was just an amazing fight. Well done. The choreography was amazing. Again, if you're watching Mahito get decimated and so scared he's running away from a wolf as a little rabbit, this is so great. And because how evil and villainous Mahito is and how much we've all been waiting for this as an audience, it just shows how great this scene was, how great this fight was animated, how great it was done. And then finally Kenjaku coming and taking away Mahito. Everything about this fight was done impeccably. I will give this fight an A+. I'm going to give this fight a higher. I think this might be the best fight of the season so far. It definitely stands better than the Sakuna versus Jogo and Sakuna versus Mahaga. Now, is this done on a wider scale? Not exactly. And is it done with as much flying colors? Not really. But the certain scenes of it are just done so beautifully. Beat all the other scenes. And so this has to get an A++. Without a doubt. This was one of the better fights of this season. I'll say it. And if you don't agree with me, let me know in the comments, because I think this is one of the better fights of this season. And finally, our last major battle, which I'm going to use this as a whole thing because it's like Choso with Yuji, with all the other, student sorcerers against Geto, Kenjaku, and Arame. This was a magnificent fight. Now, seeing Choso go hand-to-hand combat with Kenjaku was insane. Choso showing back up and onto the scene was really cool. Him getting to announce that he is Yuji's older brother was absolutely emotionally heartbreaking, but also very cool. Him fighting against Kenjaku to get revenge for what he made him do was so awesome. Arame using his ice abilities against everybody was cool as well, but just watching this massive fight happen as the ground is going up as a pillar, everybody was doing work, I can't lie, and it was fun to see the different student sorcerers play a role in this. Watching the broom girl realize how utterly useless her abilities was insane. And again, you might not even caught this, but I'll let you know, Miwa used the last of her ability on a move that Kenjaku just caught. Miwa used her last ability to be able to use a sword or wield a sword on Kenjaku, and all he did was catch it. And Miwa's now rendered useless, pretty much. So this really shows you how wide of a scale this fight was. And Yuki showing up and having a talk with Kenjaku where she talks about how she changed her mind and now nobody needs to be able to use curse energy, or there should be no curse. This was a great fight. I will not lie. This fight goes right under, in my opinion, right under the Yuji Toto against Mahito fight. The only reason being is that because it felt like it was more of a dialogue and plot progression in the ending prelude to the final of the Shibuya arc, while the Yuji and Toto against Mahito was an all-out war. They had to give everything they had. This fight, it was more of Choso getting his revenge he wanted against Kenjaku. And I still feel like this was such a great fight. This did so much for the entire story. It's actually insane. This fight was done so well. I give it an A++ as well, right under the Yuji and Toto against Mahito fight. Without a doubt, Shibuya Incident has been one of the better arcs of this season. Every fight was done animated well. Everybody is giving their all in these fights. Their lives are on the line, and taking Gojo out of the equation, you would think that the story falls flat after that, but it really doesn't. It pretty much goes on to show how much more important these characters are and how much bigger of a role they have to play now that Gojo is gone. And Yuji get to see his character development from being that energetic, the hype guy where he could be serious at a lot of times, but now his smile fading forever, where he's now no longer smiling. He's going to be boxing from this point on. This was without a doubt a great season. Each fight was done well. Shout out to the map employees. They did their job and making sure that we got to enjoy a good 3 months of anime. All I can say is thank you. All through the controversy, the hype, the intense battles, the scenes, everything we've gotten from Mappa so far with the JJK Season 2, it showed you how much farther anime has progressed over the years. And the different ways a plot can progress, characters can develop, animation can be done, choreography can be implemented, camera angles can be done. I feel like JJK fully took animation and anime to a whole nother level. It also showed you that, okay, we're moving into the future of animation quality and styles, and I just can't wait for more. I'm so prepared for the Culling Games arc of Season 3. Whether that comes in the end of 2024 or the beginning of 2025, I'm ready for it. I think he's going to do a great job in progressing JJK as one of the better animes of all time. And again, these are every single fight in the Shibuya incident arc, ranked and explained. I hope you enjoyed this video. Before you leave, hit that subscribe button, the like and comment if you enjoyed this video. Let me know how I did. Did you agree with my takes? Did I do a good job in explaining each of these fights and ranking them? And if you didn't, please let me know why. And please tell me what I could have did better. I appreciate all the criticism. I take it as constructive every single time you all comment. So without further ado, I hope y'all enjoyed the video. And with that, y'all have a blessed one.